Why are bears farmed for their bile? The shocking reality. Bears, majestic symbols of strength and wilderness, have been subjected to one of the most inhumane practices in the animal trade, bile farming. This controversial practice, prevalent in parts of Asia, involves extracting bile from live bears for use in traditional medicine. Despite growing global awareness and opposition, bear bile farming continues to thrive, raising serious ethical, environmental, and health concerns. This video delves into why bears are farmed for their bile, the shocking realities of the practice, and the efforts to end this cruel industry. The origins of bear bile farming. Bear bile has been a component of traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, for centuries. Its use can be traced back to ancient texts like the Tang Materia Medica from the 7th century, which described bile's supposed ability to treat a range of ailments, including fever, liver disease, and gallstones. The active ingredient in bear bile, ursodeoxycholic acid, UDCA, is scientifically proven to have medicinal properties, particularly for treating liver-related conditions. However, the ancient practice involved hunting and killing wild bears, making bile a rare and expensive commodity. By the 1980s, as demand for bear bile grew, farming bears for continuous bile extraction emerged as a more profitable, albeit horrifying, alternative. The process of bile extraction. Bear bile farming is a practice marked by extreme cruelty. Bears, primarily Asiatic black bears, also known as moon bears, are confined to small cages, often called crush cages, where movement is nearly impossible. These intelligent animals spend their lives in these cages, enduring unimaginable pain. The bile is extracted through invasive procedures that involve inserting a catheter, syringe, or permanently open wound into the bear's gallbladder. This process is often done without anesthesia, causing immense suffering and leaving the bears vulnerable to infections and diseases. Many bears develop severe health problems, including infections, abscesses, and liver cancer, as a result of these procedures. The conditions on bear bile farms are equally appalling. The cages are often filthy and devoid of proper food or water. Bears are subjected to constant stress, malnutrition, and physical pain, leading to a life expectancy far shorter than their counterparts in the wild. Why is bear bile farming still practiced? Despite its barbaric nature, bear bile farming persists for several reasons. Traditional medicine demand. Many consumers of traditional Chinese medicine continue to believe in the therapeutic benefits of bear bile. UDCA is used in remedies for conditions like liver disease and fevers, and even as a tonic. Economic incentives. Bear bile farming is a lucrative industry. Products containing bear bile, such as pills, powders, and even cosmetics, are marketed as premium health solutions, particularly in China, Vietnam, and South Korea. Lack of enforcement. While countries like China and Vietnam have laws regulating wildlife trade, enforcement is often weak. Loopholes and corruption allow the industry to thrive. Ignorance and misinformation. Many consumers are unaware of the cruelty involved or believe that bile extraction is painless. This ignorance perpetuates demand. The environmental impact. Bear bile farming also has significant ecological consequences. Due to poaching and illegal trade, wild bear populations are declining rapidly. The International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, lists Asiatic black bears as vulnerable victims of bile farming. The farming of bears also undermines biodiversity and disrupts ecosystems. Poachers often capture wild bears to stock farms, further depleting wild populations. The illegal trade of bear parts also contributes to the broader crisis of wildlife trafficking, threatening global biodiversity. The ethical dilemma. The ethics of bear bile farming are clear. It is a practice that prioritizes profit over the welfare of sentient beings. Bears are intelligent, emotional animals, capable of feeling pain and distress. Subjecting them to lifelong suffering for non-essential medical purposes raises profound ethical concerns. Many argue that the practice is unnecessary given the availability of synthetic alternatives. Pharmaceutical companies have successfully synthesized UDCA, which is both effective and cruelty-free. Despite this, The traditional medicine market continues to favor animal-derived products, perpetuating the cycle of abuse. Efforts to end bear bile farming. Animal rights organizations and conservation groups have been fighting to end bear bile farming for decades. Organizations like Animals Asia and World Animal Protection have led campaigns to rescue bears from farms, rehabilitate them in sanctuaries, and raise awareness about the cruelty involved. Rescue and rehabilitation. Sanctuaries in countries like Vietnam and China provide safe havens for rescued bears. These facilities aim to rehabilitate bears, though many suffer lifelong physical and psychological scars. Legislative action. In recent years, countries like Vietnam have committed to phasing out bear bile farming. However, implementation remains a challenge due to weak enforcement and resistance from the industry. Public awareness. Education campaigns have been instrumental in reducing the demand for bear bile. Efforts to inform consumers about cruelty-free alternatives are slowly changing public perception. Synthetic alternatives. Promoting synthetic UDCA as a viable alternative is crucial to reducing the market for bear bile. Increased awareness and availability of synthetic options can shift consumer behavior away from animal cruelty. Hope for a bile-free future. The tide is slowly turning against bear bile farming. Increased global awareness, stricter laws, and the availability of synthetic alternatives offer hope for a future free of this cruel practice. Countries like South Korea have banned bear bile farming outright, setting an example for others to follow. While progress is being made, the fight is far from over. Achieving a complete ban on bear bile farming will require continued advocacy, stricter enforcement of wildlife protection laws, and a cultural shift within traditional medicine markets. Bear bile farming represents one of the darkest corners of the wildlife trade. Driven by tradition, greed, and ignorance, it subjects sentient beings to lives of unimaginable suffering. Yet, hope remains in the form of global awareness, advocacy, and the promise of cruelty-free alternatives. As consumers, we have a role to play in ending this barbaric practice. By supporting animal welfare organizations, rejecting products containing bear bile, and advocating for stronger wildlife protection laws, we can help bring an end to this cruel industry. The plight of bears on bile farms is a stark reminder of the need for compassion in our treatment of animals. It is time to end this shocking reality and ensure a future where no bear suffers for the sake of tradition. The practice of farming bears for their bile, often referred to as bear bile farming, is a cruel and controversial industry that has been prevalent in parts of Asia for decades. The bile, a digestive fluid produced by the liver, is used in traditional medicine, especially in China, Korea, and Vietnam, where it is believed to have healing properties for ailments such as liver disease, fever, and inflammation. Bears, typically Asiatic black or moon bears, are captivity in tiny cages, subjected to unimaginable suffering. They endure forced extraction of bile through painful procedures involving catheterization or direct puncturing of their gallbladders, often resulting in long-term physical and psychological trauma. These bears are often kept in deplorable conditions, deprived of space to move, social interaction, or the ability to exhibit natural behaviors. The demand for bear bile, driven by myths and unproven claims about its medicinal benefits, perpetuates this inhumane industry. Despite advancements in alternative treatments and synthetic bile substitutes, the bear bile farming industry remains stubbornly entrenched, fueled by ignorance, greed, and cultural traditions. Efforts by animal rights groups and international organizations to end this practice have resulted in some legislative progress, but it remains widespread in certain regions. The shocking reality is that while the global demand for bear bile has slowly decreased, the survival of this industry is still enabled by an under-regulated market, insufficient law enforcement, and the deep cultural roots that continue to support it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Drop a comment with your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next one.